Today, I'll be saying the story of the Wise Maiden. So, once upon a time, there was a wise maiden who was living with her father. Her father was so poor, and because of that, even she was poor. Both of them lived in a small house somewhere way far away from a village in a forest. Her father was so sad that he was not able to give her daughter a more comfortable life. But his daughter, she was so beautiful and she was so wise. She was very kind too. She always used to say, "Her father, I am happy with what I have and I do not need anything more." Her father was so pleased with that, but that doesn't make me far from staying sad all the time. Even though the father stays sad all the time, his daughter always encourages him. One day, the father was so sad that he went near the king and asked him for a few gold coins. The father went there and he asked the king. Um, he asked it, and the king was actually very stunned because the way in which the father spoke to the king was very astonishing. Because as soon as the king saw him, he saw him in some dirty clothes and rags from bottom to up. But his language and his way of speaking was excellent. So the king was astonished. How could such a man who wears these types of clothes could speak like a nobleman? I'm really surprised. Then he asks, "Oh man, how do you speak so good?" Then he says that it's my daughter. If I don't have her, I'll be nothing. She is the only one who teaches me everything. For, from speaking to others from speaking to others to selling goods. She always teaches me everything, and she's very kind to me. And then the king gets very suspicious that he is lying, so he gives her daughter a challenge. The king gives the father a bag of boiled eggs and tells them to take near his daughter, and he tells her to ask a question like this. Um, ask your daughter to hatch eggs out of these boiled eggs. And his father is his the father gets very sad, as he knew that it would be impossible. And then he went near the daughter, and he told everything which happened, and he also told the question or the challenge which the king gave her daughter. uh, the daughter was she was very confused at first, but eventually at the next day on the morning she got the answer. She told her father to act as if he's hatching hens out of this boiled eggs. And then he said, "Harvest, oh man, harvest." And then the father the same thing. He went out in the field. He named his boiled eggs as boiled beans, and he started to harvest. And he acted to harvest them whenever he saw the king coming across by the field. And then the king got very suspicious and asked again, "How could you the challenge which I gave you was impossible, and you could not do it, but how did you do it?" And then the father said, "Oh, it is as much possible as growing hens out of boiled eggs." The king, he was so surprised. His line got back to him. So the king was so surprised that he was very pleased with the wisdom of his daughter. Now he proposed the father with an other question. Now he gave a small amount of flax, and then he asked her to make every single equipment a ship will need, including its sail. And the father, he was so sad that he was more sad than ever. And then he went to his daughter and told everything which happened. And her daughter again told, "I will find a solution for this at the next morning. Now it's too late, so let's sleep." And as she said, at the next day she was up with a solution. And then and then she said her father to go near the king and say like this. Ask the king that if he could make a total wooden loom out of the small wooden piece, even I would be able to make all the equipments a ship will need, along with the sail. And his father did so. He went near the king. He told what his daughter told him to tell. The king was again shocked. He was surprised that a daughter is this wise, and she's not even married. She thought that she might even be the wisest maiden in all the kingdom. And at last, the king proposed the father with a last challenge, and that challenge was very hard. The king asked his daughter to fill up a huge sea with just one cup. Uh, the king gave the cup to the father, and the father took it to the young daughter. The wise maiden or the daughter, she received it and she thought about it for a while. In the same way, she slept the present day, and the next day she woke up and she was again out with the idea. And then now this time she herself went near the king and said, "Oh my king, oh my highness, oh my sire, I can fill up the whole sea into this one cup, but only if you were kind enough to stop all the streams, all the rivers, all the ponds, all the lakes which were flowing into the sea." The king was very stunned. He has never seen such a beautiful and such a wise maiden in his country, in his life at all. So he asked the daughter if she would if she would marry him, and the daughter said, "I would be pleased to, but on one condition. Um, the one thing is that you need to give my father as many gold coins as he wants. And now the real condition is that um, if in case you get angry and yell at me, and then if I need to leave the palace, then I would take the thing which I love the most." Then the king happily agreed, and the next day they got married with great grandeur. And many years later, the king got a bit ill-tempered, and he told the queen to leave the palace. But the queen did so. But the daughter actually gave the king a sleeping pill, and she took him away to his house. And then when the king woke up, he was so furious that she kidnapped him, and he would be severely punished. And then the daughter told, oh my highness, as you made a promise to me when we were married, that I will be allowed to take the most lovable thing for me when I leave the palace if a certain situation happens. And I did so. The most lovable thing in the palace for me is you, and I brought you to my home and left the palace. When the king heard those words, he was so pleased, and he thought and he then knew how much the daughter loved him, and both of them lived happily ever after. And this time the king did not yell at the queen, because he knew that even if he did, it would just be a waste of his energy, and the queen would come back again to the kingdom. Thank you.